Hey everybody, this is Zach from Board with Friends, and today we got a little bit of a treat, kind of a preview, I should say, of a expansion to the deck building game Venom Assault. Now, Venom Assault, we reviewed several years ago. It's from Spyglass Games. It was a Kickstarter game, one of the first Kickstarters I ever backed, actually, several years ago. Really liked it. If you want to hear our thoughts on it and our original review, go back and listen to the Board with Friends podcast. Listen to us anyway, But we talk about how the game is played, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. And one of the things that I did criticize was that there wasn't a lot of player interaction. It was very much a solo style game. You were playing together. You could strategize of who would attack where. But it didn't have that, on someone else's turn, I could help out my fellow Freedom Squadron members. In it, as I just said, you are playing as the Freedom Squadron commanders. You are recruiting troops into your hand like a deck builder does, and, playing those cards to defeat Venom leaders. Venom is a terrorist organization that is trying to take over the world, like you do. If this sounds even a little bit familiar, it's because this game is heavily inspired by a certain, 80s franchise you might have heard of. But if you look at it, the guys at Spyglass Games have created their own world, essentially, inspired by that particular 80s franchise. But what I have here is the cards, or at least some of the stuff that's going to come with the upcoming expansion that is currently on Kickstarter. I do plan on doing a playthrough, whether it's a solo play or if I have somebody else with me. I'm not 100% sure yet. That depends on scheduling. But I wanted to do this video to take a look at these cards and see what it adds to the game. If you're familiar already with the base game, now you get to see what the cards do. If you're not familiar with the base game, stay tuned because we're going to do the live play, like I said, of the game. I like it a lot. It is a deck builder. It does add in what I feel is a slightly unique mechanic of using dice-based combat, but you have a lot of cards that can mitigate that dice-based combat. So it's a deck builder, but also it's a challenging deck builder, and I like it a lot. But let's take a look at some of these extra cards, because that's really what you're here for. So first up, we'll take a look at some of these Freedom Squadron cards. These are the cards that you are going to recruit and build your deck with. And right off the bat, I can see that this is going to be where we get to see this teamwork element. The Carnage Corps, I believe is what they are called. They're the cards that are being added in to the game, and they add this teamwork element. These are cards that can be played out of turn, so you could play it for the active player. This particular card, let's look here, the Juggernaut, I have two of them. So it has a cost of 7. It doesn't give you any buy value, which is too bad, and it doesn't have any combat power. So it really is, in all essence, a support card. It is a vehicle. That's what this symbol means up here. So teamwork, in the recruitment phase, the active player may draw 2 cards. If at least one of the drawn cards is a soldier, add both to your hand. Otherwise, discard them both. So it gives kind of a little bit of a gamble. If you're not playing it on someone else's turn, in the tactical phase for yourself, it can add +3 to your combat. What that means for people who haven't played the game is it adds more dice to your combat. Dice that you get to roll to hopefully get successes. Cool. Now we have Stretcher, a soldier, 7 cost, adds 6 buy power, and 1 combat value if you were to use her as a commander. The teamwork ability is prevent one of the active player's Freedom Squadron soldiers from being retired. Place that card in its own discard pile instead. Okay, so you can save somebody from dying. That is something that I believe is being added to the game with this, is instead of just discarding the cards that you don't use anymore, there's an element of these cards can be retired, which means you don't get them back. So they are essentially dead. Really cool. It adds a element of risk that wasn't there in the base game. I like that. Then we have Preacher. Really cool artwork on this one. Very 90s. Teamwork tactical phase. If the active player's combat power is 2 or less, they may reveal the top card of the draw deck. If they revealed a soldier, give the combat leader +3, and then discard the revealed card. So again, a little bit of a gamble, but it could pay off greatly because you could add 3 more dice. Pretty cool. And then in the recruitment phase, if you're using this on your own turn, it lets you draw 2 cards. Cool. The Trailblazer, another vehicle, 3 cost, 3 buying power, and 0 combat power. Teamwork, tactical phase, the active player's combat leader gives +3, and the Venom leader gains +1 recruitment. Okay, so you're getting +3, but the Venom leader that you are fighting is going to get an extra support card to them as well. I guess that's okay. It's a good trade-off. If it's in your camp, tactical phase, choose to decrease the Venom leader's health or defense by 1. Okay, pretty helpful. I like that. Detox. Great name. Teamwork, recruitment phase. Before playing the card, the active player may discard their hand and redraw an equal amount of cards. So if your hand sucks, use Detox. I like it. And she adds +2 to your tactical phase. Artwork pending. Carnage Dome. So this is a building, which is something that can come out during the game occasionally. These stay in front of you. They're not part of your deck, usually. Cost 6. When this card is recruited, it remains in front of you, in effect, and does not count as in play. Teamwork. Once per round, choose one. During the recruitment phase, the active player gains +2 buying power, or during the tactical phase, the active player's combat leader gains +2. That is super powerful. I like that. Can't wait to see the artwork for it. The Snapdragon. It's a vehicle. Teamwork, tactical phase. The active player's combat leader gains +1 combat for every 2 Venom support cards in combat, rounded down. All right, that's helpful. Tactical phase +2 combat. Nice. Spirit. She costs 2, gives 2 buying power, 5 combat power. All right, so she's definitely going to be a commander. Teamwork during the tactical phase. For every Venom support card discarded this turn, increase the active player's combat leader. Increase the active player's combat leader's power. All right, combat power by +1. Okay, so if you can cause them to discard, there are specific Venom leaders that might discard support cards if they don't mesh well, and there's definitely cards that allow you to get rid of Venom support cards, so that could be super powerful in some circumstances. Let's see. Short Fuse. I love the names. 5 cost of 5, 2 buying power, and 3 combat. Teamwork, tactical phase. All non-active players may reveal the top card of their draw deck. If that card's combat power is 2 or higher, they may discard it and give the active player's combat leader +2 each. Otherwise, return it to the top of the deck. And then during the tactical phase, +3. Again, hard to do, but if it happens, it could be super powerful and helpful. I like that. Now, I'm not sure yet if how many cards you get to play out a turn, and also that does deplete your hand, so there's still some give and take here, but I love now that they're adding this teamwork element. This is really cool. The Barricade. Teamwork recruitment phase. The active player may draw 2 cards. Discard any cards that match cards already in their hand. So if you got duplicates, they're gone. Tactical phase. For every Freedom support soldier, increase your combat leaders by +1. That can be helpful, especially with the base cards that you start with, because they're all soldiers, and yeah, they're pretty much all support. So that's a pretty cool card too. A lot of good stuff coming in here. I'm excited to play with these. Malware. Teamwork recruitment phase. The active player may draw 1 card for every 5 buying power they have this turn. Do you have to spend it? The active player may draw 1 card for... or if you just have 5, every 5 you get to draw a card. Interesting. I don't know if you have to spend it, though. Recruitment phase, discard malware to draw 2 cards. That seems really powerful. I would assume you have to spend it. You just draw cards for it instead of being able to buy cards, so you can get more cards into your hand. That would be my assumption, but maybe they can clarify that. That is a really expensive card, though. It costs 11. So maybe you don't have to spend it. I don't know. We'll see. Links. Teamwork, tactical phase. The active player may place one vehicle from their training ground into play. Retire that card at the end of combat. Okay. A little bit of risk. The training ground is where you buy cards from. Normally you'd have 5 out here to choose from that you can use with your buying power to get. So if you see something really good, but once you use it, that vehicle's done. So there's a risk there too, because you're not going to have it for the rest of the game. During the tactical phase, Freedom Support vehicle gain +1 combat in addition to anything they already provide. Interesting. Thunderstrike is a vehicle on your turn or teamwork. During the tactical phase, in the sea, you lower Venom Leader's health and defense by 1. In the combat phase, in the air, add +1 to the rolled value of all combat dice. That's awesome. And in the combat phase, in the Arctic, the active player may re-roll 2 combat dice. That also can be helpful. It's a 5 cost with a 3 buying. Tracker. 7 cost, 2 buying power, 3 combat power. Teamwork, tactical phase. The active player's combat leader gains +1 combat power for each card recruited this turn. Okay. So when you're buying a bunch of little cards, that could be super helpful. And recruitment phase. Reveal the top card from the recruitment deck. You may recruit this card at -2 cost. Return it to the top of the deck if not recruited. Okay. Double vision. Teamwork, tactical phase. +1 card. Place 1 card from your hand into play from the active player. Return this card to your hand when their turn ends. Alright, place 1 card from your hand into play for the active player. Return this card to your hand. Okay, so you get to just basically let them use a card. You have to sacrifice 2 cards, though, to do it, because you'd have to play her and the other card, but you get the other one back. Okay, cool. So really, you're only sacrificing 1. Recruitment phase. Look at the top 3 cards of your draw deck. Choose 1 card to add to your hand and discard the other 2. There are some really powerful cards going into the Freedom Squadron deck. I am afraid to see what is in that Venom support deck, which we will look at probably in the next video, because this is going way longer than I thought it would. Iron. 8 cost, 1 recruitment power, 4 combat power. Teamwork, a tactical phase. The active player may choose 1 Venom support card to discard and replace it with any Venom support from the discard. Recruitment phase, place 1 Freedom Squadron trooper from your discard pile into your hand. Ooh, I like that. The Snapdragon we saw earlier, I believe. Did we? Somewhere in here. Yes, we did. Okay, so we'll skip that one. We've seen Spirit, we've seen Short Fuse, we've seen Barricade, Malware, Lynx, Thunderstrike, Tracker, Double. So I did get 2 of every card. Cool. Yeah, so that is the added Freedom Squadron cards. I don't know if there's going to be more in stretch goals. I know that people can back at the steel level where they can have cards made with their likeness and also help contribute to the game, which is really cool. But I'm excited for the cards that they have come up with. A lot of these combos are really neat. I truly believe that Venom Assault is pretty underrated as a deck builder. I like deck building games a lot, so does Sean, and this one adds a level of, you know, just fun that if you are a fan of 80s cartoons, you're gonna like this game. It's just got some cool stuff. So if you like what you saw so far with the Freedom Squadron deck, please head over to their Kickstarter. There will be a link in the description below. And give them some support. Check it out. You can back it at a level to get the base game. So if you like everything, the way this starts to look, you can definitely do that, get the base game and the expansion. Or if you already have the base game and it's been a little while and you want to spice things up, check out this expansion. You can back at that level. But for now, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you will. And we'll be back and we'll take a look at the Venom support deck and see what that adds to the game. But for now, thanks for watching.